New for you now at 4, Fargo police say the person involved in a car accident on South University Drive this morning told them the crash happened because someone pointed a gun at them. It happened just before 2 a.m. Police came across a vehicle in the grass in the 1300 block of South University. They say someone they knew driving another vehicle pointed a gun out the window at them, causing them to speed away and lose control of the car. Nobody was hurt, but a report for terrorizing has been forwarded to the Cass County State's Attorney's Office for consideration of charges. New developments for a story we've been following for you for months. Fargo police say they have identified a person of interest in the vandalism at St. Mary's Cathedral back in April. Police say they have not released the name of the suspect yet because that person hasn't been arrested. The case has also been forwarded on to the city attorney's office for consideration of charges. Now here's Hutch with a first look at the forecast. Hutch?
Thanks so much, Stacy. As we head into the evening, take a look at our temperatures. Very comfortable, mid-80s out there, summer-like indeed. Closer to 90 for our South Dakota counties, and looking up into the Lake of the Woods, that's the cool area, mid-70s there. More comfortable because of more northerly flow in your neck of the woods. Taking a look at our planner for tonight, I anticipate temperatures to stay in those 80s all the way through the 8 o'clock hour. Sunny skies, not much to worry about, and very comfortable conditions outside thanks to the fact those humidities are fairly low. And that's because we have a dry north wind. Overnight, we cool off into those comfortable readings. Grand Forks, similarly, we're going to be sneaking into the 60s by bedtime tonight, on our way to 50s for morning temperatures, and that's how we start your Tuesday. We're looking ahead at another chance of rain. We'll have the very latest on that and the rest of your work week and weekend planner coming up here in just a few moments.
All right, thanks so much, Hutch. Fire officials tell Valley News Live that the dumpster fire at the Fry Pan was likely arson. That call came in at 1:20 this morning from the Fry Pan restaurant at 300 Main Avenue. There was a fire in the dumpster that spread to the roof of the building, but fire crews were able to put it out quickly. They had to cut a hole in the roof to make sure flames hadn't spread any further. Fire crews say the restaurant will be able to operate as usual. The damage is estimated at $5,000. Now, last week, Fargo police and fire investigators reported a string of 5 dumpster fires, which they say are connected and suspicious. No word yet on whether this fire is considered suspicious or connected to those others. Take a look at this. Firefighters spent several hours battling this house fire near Bemidji this morning. It took the 20 firefighters 3 hours to tamp down the flames. One person was injured while trying to get out of that house, but he or she is expected to be okay. No word yet on what caused the fire, but the home is believed to be a total loss. We've had reports of hikers who say they're seeing an unusually high amount of ticks this year. We spoke with an official from the North Dakota Department of Health who says they have not been tracking the number of ticks, but over the past 10 years, they've found different tick species expanding throughout the Red River Valley. With an increase in ticks comes an increase in tick-borne illnesses.
It is expanding, and so that is some potential and risk to North Dakotans, not just people who go to Minnesota and go to the lake cabin for the weekends. Other areas in North Dakota, there is potential risk.
To prevent tick bites, use bug and tick repellent and cover your ankles and legs while spending time outdoors. If you see a tick, the North Dakota Department of Health is asking people to submit photos so they can identify the species. Gun violence across America spiked in 2020, and it's showing no sign of slowing so far in 2021. Since Friday, 139 people in the U.S. have been killed by guns. The lifting of COVID restrictions and the warmer weather has some fearful of a violent summer ahead. CBS's Bradley Blackburn reports from New York.
A deadly weekend of gun violence. In Austin, Texas, shots rang out early Saturday morning on a street filled with bars and restaurants, killing 25-year-old Doug Cantor and wounding more than a dozen others.
Almost all of those victims are innocent bystanders.
In Savannah, Georgia, a gunman outside an apartment complex killed 1 person and wounded 7 others, including a toddler.
You got to try to find a way to make some kind of sense out of it, because this is senseless.
More shootings in Chicago and Cleveland in what could be a trend heading into the summer. The Gun Violence Archive counts at least 272 mass shootings in the U.S. so far this year. That's defined as incidents with 4 or more people shot and more than 8,900 gun deaths. The group says mass shootings spiked to 610 in 2020, more than the previous 6 years tracked.
I'm concerned about the trends we're seeing.
Warren Eller is an associate professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. He says the pandemic is an enormous factor.
It creates layers and layers of stress which bring out layers and layers of behaviors that we wouldn't see under less stressful times.
And as more people return to public spaces, they bring that stress with them, a potential root cause of violence that is hard to address.
I think that the question we should be asking is why, not how. We're still not doing anything to change those drivers, to change that behavior.
Leaving communities across the country to deal with pandemic-fueled violence with no easy cure. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
The FBI has said in the first 4 months of 2021, there were about 16 million background checks for people across the country looking to purchase a firearm. That's a 31% increase from the same time frame last year. Lawmakers from the European Union have okayed a new digital COVID travel pass. It'll allow citizens of its 27 countries to freely travel within the EU's borders. Beginning July 1st, EU countries will recognize the free vaccine certificate that can be on paper or digital form. The form shows whether a person has been vaccinated, has tested negative for COVID, or has recovered from the virus. An 8-year-old boy made a stop in Fargo today for a birthday wish from a couple years ago that's finally coming true. A bike ride all the way from his home in Washington State to New York to see the Statue of Liberty. Shepard Culver's dad, James, says their first attempt back in 2019 only got them as far as eastern Montana because the two found out that Shepard had type 1 diabetes and they had to return home. They set back out on the trail about a month ago, but were faced with another setback. James flipped his bike a few days ago near Fargo and it was left badly damaged. Shepard says he and his dad are still having fun despite the obstacles.
Mostly spending time with my dad a lot. We get to learn a lot more things about each other and just talk and enjoy the views.
Once they reach New York, Shep will be the youngest cyclist to complete the Northern Tier bicycle route. They arrive in New York sometime in August, just in time for Shepard's birthday. For the first time in 2 years, there's a new Miss North Dakota, and she's from Fargo. Raina Bergstrom took the crown over 17 other candidates this past weekend. Her platform is promoting the importance of face-to-face connection. She says being able to know how to connect in person is important, especially with the pandemic. She says winning this title was exhilarating.
I'm in shock and absolutely humbled to be in this position. This is an incredible organization and I'm so humbled to be chosen today.
Bergstrom will now assume the role of Miss North Dakota for the next year, which includes competing in the 100th anniversary of Miss America in December. It's Flag Day, and Fargo-Moorhead Ambulance Service wants you to know a few facts to honor this day. Did you know there have been 27 versions of the American flag, and the colors were chosen purposefully? Red symbolizes hardiness and valor, white symbolizes purity and innocence, and blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. In 1958, a 17-year-old high school student submitted the current flag design, and President Eisenhower chose it over 1,500 other designs. The current flag is also the only one to have lasted more than 50 years. One teen's artwork will soon appear on Google's homepage. The story behind his drawing is still to come on Valley News Live at 4.
This week, pretty good weather ahead of us, some for everybody. We even have a chance of some rain, and I'll detail all of that coming up in your hour-by-hour forecast next.